الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything in pairs in this world, and this thing has started from Hazrat Adam alayhi salam and will carry on until the end of time. One man and one male and female, each of them needs each other as well, and in order to fulfill their need, Shariat has put some guidelines and boundaries. Because of certain things, this man who was someone a non-mahram for this woman now becomes a mahram for her. Because of nikah, both male and female can stay together as husband and wives. If both of them need peace, happiness, tranquility in their life, for this there are some conditions, some things which need to be fulfilled so that the life of both of them could be turned into happiness. Now, because there are so many men in this gathering, and most of them are married, and most of you have reached to the age of marriage. So, but anyways, after marriage, the male is the one who leaves his house and goes to the wife's house. But generally, we'll talk about how men should be in their marriage. When a woman gets married and comes to the man's house, so she needs three basic needs. She has the requirement of three basic needs from her husband. That if the husband provides these three basic things, then the life with the husband will be something which will be good for her. The first thing what she needs is protection. She needs that my husband protects me, that I have left my household for her, my parents, my relatives for him. So now where I'm going, the protection of my life, of my status, my iman is protected by my husband. This is why this is the first demand of the woman, that this person who is getting married to me, will he be able to give me this protection or not? It shouldn't be the case that if I get married to a man, I wouldn't even be able to protect myself or could not even have a roof on my head. This is why it is important that the husband accepts the wife regardless of how she is and provides her that protection. There could be that she has some faults, but it is important to accept those faults and still provide her that protection. It cannot be that I will take the good of this woman, I accept that, but then if there is enough faults, then I don't accept her. This cannot be. You have to accept both the good and the faults of the wife. So when the wife realizes that my husband is able to give me protection, then she spends a good life with this man. The the fear of unknown in the wife is something which she needs to get rid of, and this is why this is her first demand. The second demand of the woman is seeking attention, that my husband is able to give me attention. There are husbands who do not give attention to the wife. They don't care of what she needs. They will come back. They will come back from home and from work. They will come. They will sit with their parents. They will sit, spend time with their sister, their brother, but will not give any time to their wife. So the wife needs that the home which I have come to, my husband gives me attention and take cares of what I need. And when I say something, he's able to fulfill those. Now, giving attention does not mean that he comes home and he came and he spent time with the wife, but does not mean that he kept fighting with the wife. This does not mean he's giving attention. Giving attention means to be listening to him, to her carefully, and acting upon what she's trying to say, through which a woman could get a moral satisfaction that, my husband is morally satisfying me. Now, there are a few men, they spend time outside at their work, but and spend good time with their friends. When they come home, they'll eat food and sleep. And the wife is in this notion that my husband would come back and I will spend time with him and I will eat food with him, will talk to him. But then the husband is not even concerned that someone needs my attention. So this is the responsibility of the husband, that he takes out time and gives attention to the wife. The father-in-law or the mother-in-law, regardless of how they are, how nice they are, but still, if the husband is not giving this attention to the wife's needs are not fulfilled. Regardless if he's good to he's nice to the wife's parents, to her relatives, but if she's not getting that attention, she will not be happy. Hence, this first demand is protection, second demand is attention, and third demand is appreciation, that to be appreciated on the things she does. If she cooks something special, what the husband asks for, if she takes care of the cleaning of the house, if she takes care of the kids, if she's made my home a heaven, then it's generally the husband's responsibility to appreciate that wife. This is a natural thing. When someone does something nice, he expects that the other person appreciates it. But husband do not do it, but they say that this is your responsibility. You should have done this. Hence, these are the three basic needs which need to be fulfilled of the wife. Because they're not aware about the knowledge of deen, they are not able to fulfill this. But these are basic needs. But now let's move on to the next issue, which is the topic, which is our today's topic, and that is generally staying in homes. What what are the 10 basic mistakes which husbands make, due to which the environment of the house changes and it becomes problematic? It's an interesting topic, right? And everyone's staring at me in a very different way. If I would be talking about the faults of the wife, everyone would have been very interested in this. But because now you can't move anywhere outside, so now let's talk about this. So you can't run away anywhere. So the first mistake of the husband is to ignore the wife. Ignoring the wife. This means that when you are sitting, you're sitting with your relatives, or you're sitting in a gathering and the wife is trying to say something, but when she says something, you just ignore it, thinking as if that is something not important, and trying to give this notion that I am in control of the household, that I have this status in the house, that I am the one who's the decision maker. This ignoring what the wife says is one of the biggest mistakes which a man makes. We should not be doing this. There's a joke. There was a husband, he was reading a diary, and the wife wanted that the husband gives her attention, and the husband was busy reading. So the wife, she came back and forth, but the husband did not look her. So the wife said, so the wife, so I said, may I wish, the wife said that I wish that I was a book that you would also read me. So the husband closed the book and took a sigh and said that I wish that you were a diary who I could change every year. So if the husband says things like this, how do you think that the environment of the house will become good? When the look the husband gives to the daughter of his neighbor, if he looks at his wife the same way, then things would change. So we should not be ignoring the wives. And this creates disparity in the household. And then to show people that, I there's no value of my wife at home, this is something which creates issues. So hence we need that we do not ignore our wife. Second problem is to tell or keep telling the wife that I would divorce you. Keep If someone keeps repeating this, that if you do this, I will divorce you. If you keep doing this, I will divorce you. If you keep doing this, I'm not able to see any future with you. You know, always repeating these things is something like an atom bomb for the wife, because the wife keeps thinking that this unintelligent person, when he would leave me, she goes into this fear that anything could keep happening, and then she informs other people, and then they come that, oh, if he's going to divorce you, then he needs to give you these things, and these lead to all sorts of problems in families. So on small things to tell the wife that I will divorce you is so unnecessary. At times, when the husband starts doing this, so what happens is that the wife now starts, When the wife starts receiving these threats, what she starts doing is, so she starts thinking that what if my husband leaves me? And then what she starts thinking of is that if he leaves me, I would need a roof. And then she starts getting connected to her parents, and then the parents get involved, and then they start guiding her, and this becomes a big issue, a big issue in the household. And the husband, he thinks that, oh, I have this such a big weapon in my hand that if I am going to threat her with this thing, she'll be scared of me and she will not think of moving back. This thing putting in the mind of a woman creates a lot of issues in the household. Her mind becomes divided between being with the husband or being with the parents. The third mistake which the husbands make, this, this is a very interesting threat. This is something which happens in most of the households, and that is that I'll marry someone else. The moment the husband gives this threat, this is not nice. She doesn't like it. The wife does not like it. She might agree with, but even Shariat has given the permission to get married, but the Sharia does not allow us to put these threats to the wife. They think that if we keep giving this threat, then the wife would be in our control. Now, if someone needs to get married, yeah, he can get married. Shariat has given you the permission, but you this the husband, he remembers that there are two, three, four wives I could get married to. Masna sulas wa rubad, this ayah they remember, but they forget that if you're not able to do or give each and every one their right, then one is enough, sufficient for you. So to be fair and do justice with each other, this is not easy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, if you are not able to treat both their wives equally, when you're not able to treat them equally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is that we want that we keep two, three wives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying you will never be able to treat them equally. Then you have to keep one. Be satisfied and content in one. Prophet alayhi salatu salam, there's a hadith in Jami Tirmizi, a person who has two wives and he's not able to treat them fairly, then this person would be risen or he would stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a state of leprosy. So the wife, she's always scared that now, I don't trust my husband. She could do anything. A husband, he once came late to he came late. So the wife was scared. S- So the wife was like, so the husband was like, "Don't worry, I won't do anything haram." So the wife was like, "I'm not concerned about that. My concern is that you, I'm scared that you might do something which is halal." Someone came to Hazrat that, you know, I need to get married. So that said that okay, make three homes. One for your first wife, second for your second wife, and then third for yourself. So a person cannot be fair with each of his wife. Her Thanvi Rahmatullah alayh had kept a weighing scale. He had two marriages, and in that Whenever he would send something to each of his wife's house, he would always put in that weighing scale and make sure that it becomes equal. Once he got a watermelon, so he then thought that how do I send this to? So one of his students said that, send one, cut it into two halves, and send one to this house and the other to the other house. He said, no, I will take a knife, I will cut it into half and send half up to each house. So he said that I would look at that and cut it into pieces and spread it into, mix it up so that I don't send the sweet part to one house and the not sweet part to the other house. Can you do something like that? A person, one of his wife, his two wives passed away, and both of them passed away together. So he said, now I need to treat both of them fairly equally. So he bought the cloth from one shop for both of them. At the same time, he gave both of them ghusl at the same time. Everything happened at the same time. Now, when the funeral had to be taken, now the house of the door is one. So now, in order to take the funeral, the one need to be put front and the other would have to go back. So he thought this would not be fairness. So he broke the wall of his house so that both of them could go out together. And then when he went to the graveyard and made sure that everything happened, the grave was put in and everything was done, the funeral was done, and he was very content that I have done everything according to fairness and justice. So when he came back in the night, the first wife came to his in his dream, and she said that you've not done justice with me. And he's like, what did I do? She said that you took me through the old house door and you took the other wife from the new house door, so you've not done justice with me. So you have to be very careful when having multiple wives. Fourth mistake which the husbands make are asking her or stopping her to do something in front of others, correcting her, making fun of her in terms of in front of others. Like when you're in front of your relatives or when you're in a gathering, passing comments about her just to make the people happy or to create some funny moments in the gathering. This is something which is dangerous for both husband and wife. If you see, when you scold a small child in front of people, even they feel you know as if that something wrong has been done to them. If a child feels this, imagine how a full grown woman would feel. So we should be careful about her feelings as well. Scholars have said that if a child falls when he's alone, he won't cry. He he would get up and see that nothing happened and then do whatever is. But when he falls in front of others, he would start crying because he knows there are other people who are watching. So, when he realizes this, the full grown woman, she also has some feelings. This is why to to mistreat her, to make fun of her, and keep correcting her in front of others, this is something which should not be done. This is a big mistake husbands make. They don't give any respect to their wives. times, at times the husband tries to scold the wife just to cover up on their own mistakes. The wife asked the husband to do some work. Now this husband, the first day he forgot, the second day he forgot, the third day he forgot. Now fourth day the wife, now this is something which is not happening for 4 days. So when the wife says that I've been giving you or asking you something from 3 4 days and you're not doing it, and now the husband will go into, he'll become angry and he'll say, oh, now you are the one who's going to correct me and tell me about these things. It's his mistake, and still he is trying to scold the wife about it. The fifth mistake, what the husbands do, or the mistake they do, is that not giving her enough time. The wife calls the husband that when can we sit together, and he's like, oh, I'm out, you're at home only, right? I'll come home and we'll talk, we'll sit. And when he comes home, he's sleepy, and he comes and he sleeps. He would come home, he would come and sit next to his mother, he would speak to his mother, spend time with the mother, but not give any time to the wife. So this not giving time to your wife, this is a very big mistake. This is why it is important that we spend more time with our wives. At times, people who are following deen, even they get involved into this. Oh, we have to sit in muraqabah. Oh, we have to go sit for that talk, for the bayan, right? But give have some time. If there is a time allotted for your wife, then give it to your wife. You can listen to the bayan online, you can do your muraqabah at some other time, right? So the time given to your wife or allotted to your wife, spend it with her. The wife is waiting at home, and this husband is out, doesn't even know. And what do you think, the shaitan would not come home? Now the husband is out for 1 year, gone for tabligh and what all. So, what do you think? The wife, or the shaitan would not come to the wife and tell her that, oh, the husband is gone for 1 year. Would shaitan not misguide her? There was an alim who was sitting, and a wife came to one of the Amirul Mumineen that my husband, he fasts all day, and in the night he keeps praying. This was Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was amazed that what is this woman trying to say? That at one time she says that my husband is very nice, he's very pious, but then at the other side she's saying that th- that that my husband fasts all day, and she and he prays all night. So someone in the gathering said that he she is trying to put forward an issue, and but she's trying to put it in a very nice way, in a very subtle way. So Hazrat Umar was that, what is she trying to say? That that what she's trying to say is that her husband, when he's praying, which because he's too pious and he keeps praying all night, he's not giving the wife any time to the wife, and in the day he's fasting, so the wife is not able to get any fast. So then the husband was called, that that So then there was someone in the gathering when Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that if you've understood the issue, then you give the solution to this. So they called the husband and they said that it is good that you fast, but for you, the hukam is that you can only keep fast for 3 days, but after 3 days, you have to not fast and spend time with your wife. So when they went, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked this person that where did you give this ruling from? So he said that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that you can have four wives. Now, if you look at that, if you have four wives and you're giving time to the other three wives, after the three wives, the fourth wife gets her turn. So that means that after 3 days, the fourth wife or that first wife has to get her chance. So this is where I took the ruling. But there are times But there are times when the Maulana Saab is out for 2 years, does not even come back home for 2 years. Now people are going to target this. Shaitan is going to come and attack the wife. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you risk in that outside country, He is going to give you risk in this country as well. But people do not think about this. Even if you have to go out, still we have to think of coming back. After how long? Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was once, patrolling at night and he heard some poetry that a woman was reciting some poetry in the love of her husband. So she came, when he came home, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu came home, he asked Hazrat Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anha that how long has this woman been without her husband? And Hazrat Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anha that he asked that how long can a woman stay away from her husband? So then Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu made this rule that all those men who have gone out of the country for wars or for trade cannot stay away from their wives for more than 4 months and 10 days. This is the iddat which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. This was a rule which Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu implemented that people cannot stay away from their wives because of their governmental duties for more than 4 months and 10 days. But here, where Molana, they are not even coming back home for 2 years, for a year, and they're not even giving time to their wives. This is something which is not nice. The sixth mistake what husbands make is that they follow principles at home but don't follow it themselves. They make others follow principles, but when it comes to them, they don't follow those principles. For others, it is that when you when you go to the market, don't look at anyone, keep your gaze down. But when it comes to himself, he is talking to everyone, looking at everyone. Hazratji Barkatuhum mentions that he met a woman in California and he was very pious and the husband would keep her in hijab, but for himself he has full freedom and he would not listen to anyone. The wife was in full hijab, but he would in full freedom. The wife was fully covered, but then for me there is no hijab, so I'm okay. And once he told his wife that, oh, it's a day off, let's go to the beach. He took the wife to the beach, full hijab, and covered her fully, head to toe, with gloves and hijab and with glasses, so much so the eyes cannot be seen. And himself, was in shorts. His knees could be seen, his thighs could be seen, and his body could be seen. And he was like, "Oh, for me, there is no issue. There is no hijab for me." And he was talking to other women, and nothing for him. Passing comments on non-mahram people and doing, discussing. So only the principles which you build for others at your home, you should be following it on yourself as well. This is the sixth mistake. The seventh mistake, which husbands make, which is very common, that on small issues of the wife, they would start passing comments. And then this issue what this leads to is that now you start doubting the wife. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why did your mother call? Why are you talking to that person? Why are you wearing these clothes and going to your mother's house? From small things, keep pointing out mistakes or talking about things, and this leads to creating doubts in each everyone's mind. So much so that if the wife laughs talking to her own brother, the husband starts doubting, oh, why is she laughing when talking to her to his brother, to her brother? Now, it's because we have this issue in our mind, we start doubting others. And then at times, that if the wife is cooking some good delicacies, foods, and keeping in front of the husband, now the husband is like, "Oh, the salt is less. Oh, the this is too spicy for me." Uh, Instead of appreciating, starting to point out faults in the wife. These pointing out faults on small things leads to creating doubts in the mind. Now every day, now the every day she doesn't cook bad food, right? Someday she cooks good food as well, right? Now please appreciate when she cooks good food. But no, the husband is always ready to find some faults. And then at times, some husbands, they are so unintelligent that they are pointing out faults or taunting the wife about her own parents. About his own parents, he would not even take something like even a small thing the wife would say. But about the parents of the wife, they would keep going on and taunting them and saying, "Oh, they did this, they did that, and your brother did this, or your brother did that." And if the wife says that, "Oh, to your sister did this," now that's it. There would be a storm in the house. So this habit of finding faults, you know, and some of them are such that when they taunt and the wife says that please don't taunt me, they're like, oh, I didn't give any taunt. What taunt? Eighth mistake what the husbands make, that the husbands fight with the wife because of others. As he mentions that the husband and wife generally don't fight because of each other, but it could be the reason of generally fighting would be others. It could be his business, his sister, his brother, his parents. It could be some relative of the wife, but it would always be a third person which would create these fights between the husband and wife. How? Whereas it's so amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran that husband and wife are each other's garment, which means that this thing, the garment, is generally so close to the body that there is nothing else which comes between the body and the cloth, and the clothes. This is how the husband and wife should be. That nothing should come in between them, but still the fights what happen is happening because of a third person. Others, in olden times there would be this puppet show. There was this curtain and there were puppets and they had threads, and there was someone else who was moving those threads, and the puppets would move. So this is how men are. The mother gets their son married but keeps the thread of the son in their hands, and that's it. The son is always listening to when what whatever the mother says. Mother expects that my husband listens to whatever I say. He accepts whatever I say, but she doesn't want that her son accepts what the wife has to say, what his wife has to say. So Ajib that the mother wants that her husband listens to her, but does not want her son to listen to his wife. My son is now, he doesn't even listen to me. He is in control of the wife. But when it comes to to her own daughter, now she would want her son-in-law to be in her control as well. So husband and wife generally would be fighting because of a third person. So we should be always vigilant of this, that there should not be any third person coming in between husband and wife. The ninth thing due to which hus- issues appear is blaming each other for small, small issues. Husband keeps blaming the wife for all the issues which keep arising. If the children do anything, oh, you did not manage them properly, or you did not manage this at the home. Why did you not do this? Blaming the wife for each and every issue. And at times, some husbands, they have no sense at all, that they start putting blame on the wife, that, oh, I think my wife is having some other affair with someone else. They don't have any reasoning for it, but because they have this corruption in their own mind, they start blaming their own wives. If his own character is in such a way that he goes out and does these things, now he would start looking at his wife the similar way. When he has connections with non-mahram people, women, he would think that his wife also has this. So he would have issues, but he would be blaming his wife for it. And the last, or the 10th biggest mistake which the husbands do generally is they say that, oh, I love you, but I don't like your parents, or I don't like your relatives. I don't want to meet them. I don't like seeing them. Do you think that if you would say to someone that I don't like your father or your mother and I don't like your relatives, what do you think would happen? Would she like this person, or would this person like that person? Regardless of how nice you are, if you tell this to your wife, she would never be able to like you. She would always want that even my parents are looked after or taken care of. But the husbands don't think of this. Here, they want the wife to treat his parents with utmost care and do khidmat of them, but when it comes to their own selves, they don't want to do anything. This is why we should be very careful about how we treat the wife's parents as well. There is a hadith that you have the most right you have, or which you have on you, is to treat that person nicely who has given you their daughter in nikah. Generally, when a child is born, they have one father and one mother. But when someone gets married, now they have two fathers and two mothers. This is how Shariat has put it forward. This is why to treat both of them nicely is mandatory on both the husband and wife. Some husbands are so much such that they tell their wives, "Oh, I don't like that you talk to your parents or to to your brothers and sisters." Once a husband and wife came to me, and he was in hijab, but she told me in a very subtle way that this husband, he does not keep me happy. When I asked the husband, he's like, "Oh no, we are very happy." When I asked the wife, and she said that he doesn't spend time with my parents, does not like to meet my parents, but keeps spending time with her own parents. Some are such that they tell the wife that, "Oh, you should not be going to your parents' home." In the start, he gives big promises that, "Oh, she'll be able to do this, she'll be able to do that," but after some time, he fulfills all his desires, but when it comes to the desires of the wife, then everything is secondary. All financial crises appear on the wife. She can't go to meet her parents, she can't do anything. The way you sit with your parents, even she wants to sit with her parents. At time of marriage, they would do so many, give so many promises, but after the marriage, everything is secondary. I just remembered something, just how before the exam, a student, he would study everything, he would remember, revise everything, he would try to go through everything. There's a joke that when a student, he keeps putting a tick, although I've done this, done this, done this, done this, and then and when when the paper comes in front of him, he thinks that, "Oh, what did happen, what did this happen, what did this happen?" Similarly, because he can't recall it, and similarly, men, when they get married, put in so big promises, but when it comes to fulfill those promises, they don't fulfill it. So these are the 10 big mistakes which the husbands make, due to which it creates issues in the household. Instead of becoming paradise, the household becomes a destruction. So hence these 10 mistakes we should note it down and make sure that we avoid this. We'll take the same husband's topic tomorrow as well, inshallah, and talk about it. And since you all are now over here and in control, we can talk about this as well. So we'll talk about this further tomorrow, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow make all those households which as a place of paradise for all of us, inshallah. J- سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.